Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and the viewing members at home. I'd like to welcome you to the TV Toastmasters Advanced Club number 9523. The purpose of the Toastmaster, the mission of the Toastmaster Club, is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-growth, self-confidence, and personal growth. We do have a guest in the studio this morning. Rhonda Pollock is our Area 34 governor, and she will be installing the officers later. But let's give her a warm welcome. And I note that we are having a fan club. People are telling us that they're seeing us on TV, so people really do watch cable television. We had a great conference in East Lansing, Michigan for our Regional 6 conference, and we will be having one, if you missed that, in Springfield, Ohio on November the 6th, our district conference. So that will be having the humorous speech and the Tabletopics contest. So now we will have our Toastmaster for the day, Sheila Mudbaker. She's very close to receiving her Advanced Toastmaster Gold Award, and she is also a competent leader. So let us welcome Toastmaster Sheila Mudbaker to our lectern here.
Thank you, Carol. Toastmasters and guests, all of you in our speaking audience, this will be a fun day for me because I don't have to be an officer this year. We're going to have the installation of new officers. But before we start and have our speech and our installation, I would like to introduce our joke master, Jerome Manigan, who will give us the joke of the day. And our joke master is Jerome Manigan, who will give us the joke of the day.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters, although I shouldn't say good morning, should I? I should just say to you, hello, fellow Toastmasters. I have the responsibility of sharing with you a joke this time around. Is anyone here a lawyer? Good. I don't want to be mean-spirited to lawyers. A very successful lawyer parked his car. It was a brand new Lexus. He parked it in front of his office, ready to show it off to his colleagues. As he got out, a truck passed too close and tore off the door on the driver's side. The lawyer immediately grabbed his cell phone, dialed 911, and within minutes, a policeman pulled up. Before the officer had a chance to ask any questions, the lawyer started screaming hysterically. His Lexus, which he had just picked up the day before, was now completely ruined, no matter what the body shop did to it. When the lawyer finally wound down from his ranting and raving, the officer shook his head in disgust and disbelief. I cannot believe how materialistic you lawyers are, the cop said. You are so focused on your possessions that you don't notice anything else. How can you say such a thing? Asked the lawyer. The cop replied, don't you know that your left arm is missing from the elbow down? It must have been torn off when the truck hit you. My God, screamed the lawyer. My Rolex. Thank you very much. Madam Toastmaster.
joke, even if I did go to law school. But I'm not a lawyer, I am happy to say. Our next speaker will be Ray Boston, and Ray will give us the word of the day. And with the word of the day, those here will use it or attempt to use that word at least once in each of their presentations. So please welcome Ray Boston for the word of the day.
Our word of the day, I think, is very appropriate. We have been blessed or something else for the last few weeks by some beautiful sounds of some very talkative bugs. Those birds really bug me too. But so everybody knows about the locust and the 17-year cycle, and it reminded me of a word called loquacious. It means somebody that is very talkative, and it's almost a little play on words with bugs. Locust, loquacious. So it just means somebody that really likes to talk perhaps a little too much. And as Toastmasters, we love to talk, but we hope not too much. So the word of the day will be loquacious. You're going to hear some wonderful speeches today, some wonderful talk, and we hope you will learn a lot. And we will be here much quicker than every 17 years. In fact, here at TV Toastmasters, we plan to be on your TV viewing screens just enough to make you want to come back for the next show. So the word of the day, the word power, loquacious.
Thank you, Ray. Our next speaker will be our Tabletopics master, Carol Kormelink. Before Carol begins, let me explain what Tabletopics are. Tabletopics questions are questions that a person must spontaneously answer, and they have 1 to 2 minutes. So Carol Kormelink, please welcome Carol Kormelink with our Tabletopics of the day.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I might mention that table topics are 1 to 2 minutes reply of a subject not of your choosing, and you have the opportunity to tell the truth, make up some great story, or to use that to talk about something else. As we are taping the day before Father's Day, we will have a Father's Day thing. When I was talking to a new father the other day, he said, when I held my baby girl in my hands, I told her, you're not going to date until you're 25 years old. So let's fast forward a little bit, and you are his daughter at age 12, and you come home and want to ask Dad for permission to go to a co-ed slumber party. So let's hear what happens. Rhonda Pollack.
Dad, don't you know that everybody's going to be there? Come on, you have raised me so well. You have taught me how to conduct myself in a wonderful manner, to be respectful to all those around me. I will help the mother who is running this slumber party and make sure that everyone is taking care of cleaning up after themselves. It doesn't matter that boys are going to be there because we all respect each other and get along so well. I really want to go to this slumber party, Dad, because I'm meeting new friends and I am learning leadership and responsibility and want to share this with my friends. So, Dad, you have raised me well, you trust me, and I thank you for giving me this opportunity to share with my friends.
Thank you, Rhonda. Did he let you go?
Yes.
Yes, okay, great. I can remember growing up, and my dad was a builder, and he usually got home about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and my mom had all of we kids, there were 7 of us, and the younger ones, we were cleaned up and ready to greet our daddy. I remember being in the front yard, and when he came home, Daddy, Daddy, it was really great to welcome our daddy. Well, in today's fast-paced world, we seldom get to have meals together, and I would like you to recall an incident that was very special with you and your dad Steve Ehrenholtz. Steve.
Thank you, Madam Tabletopics Master, fellow Toastmasters, our honored guest, and our video audience at home. A special event as far as dinner with my father. Boy, I think one of the special events relating to dinner that I can think of with my father is birthdays at our house. Particularly my father and my birthday, since they happen on the same days. And my mother would ask us what did we want to have for dinner as far as our birthday cake. Well, at our house, we like pie better. So I would always ask for cherry pie, and my dad would go with a lemon meringue pie. We might or might not have whipped cream on top of it. If we had ice cream along with it, that was even better. As I got a bit older, one of the things I recall with my father and dinners is that Dad liked to have dinner on the table when he got home. My mother worked most of my life, so that's how I learned to cook. I would have to make sure that dinner was ready when my dad got home. Those are some of the things that I think of as far as my father and dinners. Madam Tabletopics Master?
Thank you, Steve. That was great. I think I like what you requested for your special meal better than mine. My mom, when asked what I wanted, it was chipped beef on toast. That was my favorite meal. So that concludes our table topics, and you're going to be asked questions off the cuff. Maybe your boss is going to ask you something. And table topics teaches you to listen intently, think creatively before you answer. I will return control of the lectern to our Toastmaster, Sheila Baker.
All the education in the world won't help you get ahead in life if you can't express your ideas effectively. Every day, competition for advancement gets tougher and tougher. You need an edge. A Toastmasters Club can give you that edge. A low-cost learning experience for men and women. Toastmasters gives you the confidence to express your ideas to anyone. Get the Toastmasters edge.
Our next speaker is Joe Schwerling, and Joe is going to give a moment of truth. A moment of truth is a presentation from International Toastmasters. Do you remember the first time you attended a Toastmasters meeting? I'm sure everyone here does. Almost immediately, someone stepped forward to greet you. They asked your name, they introduced themselves, they introduced you to other club members, and within moments, you'd made a decision. I want to be here. This is a friendly group of people. In today's presentation, we're going to learn more about those special moments, those moments of truth, and how we in Toastmasters can use such episodes to strengthen and improve our club. This presentation, as I said, is part of the Toastmaster International Successful Club Series, which is a set of programs which address the subject of how to plan and conduct quality meetings. And today's presentation will be done no less than by the greatest Toastmaster in Greater Cincinnati, Joe Schwerling. Joe Schwerling is a member of several clubs, and he has been a member of Toastmasters for quite a while. In fact, 13 years, which is a long time for any organization. He's tried to maximize his Toastmastering experiences in his personal travels, and I know that Joe attended at least 6 Toastmaster meetings in this last week. He had to, because there were at least 6 days. He would only miss the 7th if he had to. In the past, he's taken advantage of his government-paid travel to visit hundreds of clubs during his work week. And then he attended dozens of district conferences on the weekends in between. He's a member and officer of 6 local Toastmasters clubs, and he still regularly visits other clubs. We are so fortunate to have Joe Schwerling as part of TV Toastmasters. Let us welcome Joe Schwerling.
on Toastmaster. Toastmasters International is a service organization that is devoted to serving the needs of members that can be brought in from the local community. As to paraphrase the mission of Toastmasters Club, which Carol read at the beginning of the meeting, we try to provide a mutually supportive environment in which members have the opportunity to improve their self-confidence, their communication skills, and even more in demand lately are the leadership skills. And that is something that Toastmasters is trying to expand that, the awareness of that benefit even more. As was mentioned in the introduction by Sheila, the Moments of Truth are a program which covers the elements of awareness that a guest or visitor to a Toastmasters Club first comes in contact, first comes to their attention, that acquaint them with the characteristics and the benefits of Toastmasters. Specifically, the Moments of Truth are 6 areas in which we try to make that initial contact one that the members will make them feel welcome, to acquaint them with the goals that they will have the opportunity to fulfill with Toastmasters. And I will be getting into those individually. Once guests or members become acquainted with Toastmasters, many things in today's hectic lives cause things to interfere with whether they can continue to come to the meetings. And the more inviting and welcome and the satisfaction level that we can provide to those members will help retain those for the benefit of the club and individual members. Approximately 60% of those that leave Toastmasters after a limited amount of time do so not as much due to their personal conflicts, but just dissatisfaction with the value they're receiving for the time they put into it. Again, a moment of truth is that episode where they make a decision on whether or not Toastmasters is worthwhile and will be meeting their goals. The first moment of truth is first impressions. Our guests greeted warmly and introduced to the officers and members. At a typical Toastmasters meetings, that's primarily the job of the Sergeant at Arms, but all members should take an equal part in welcoming both the continuing members as well as all visiting guests. Guest books and name tags are good for maintaining that information and subsequent follow-up. In this new age of email and internet access and cell phones, we need to add more information to those guest books because that information wasn't in them when they were originally printed up. Professionally arranged meeting rooms, those will change depending on what the type of environment is. Our arrangement here at TV Toastmasters is quite a bit different than you would have at a typical meeting, where more often we sit in either in a U shape or in a classroom style, with everyone facing the lectern and whoever's presiding over the meeting at any given point. Making advance arrangements for speakers' needs, in fact having the entire agenda and all the roles filled in an orderly fashion before the meeting even begins, shows that we have a professional environment. After a meeting, the guests are invited to join or made aware that they're welcome to return as often as they would like and join as soon as they would like. In the greater Cincinnati area, we have approximately 40 different Toastmasters clubs. So it's also nice to try different clubs because each group is different because we're all different personalities, different geographic areas, the time of day, the day of the week, and again, with all our hectic schedules, some will fit much better, even if it's not necessarily your closest local club. Although here at TV Toastmasters and in Anderson Township, we've got several clubs here. There's one that meets on Tuesdays at noon at a government facility. There's Anderson Hills Toastmasters that meets at Mercy Anderson Hospital. Our TV Toastmasters Club that meets here, and we get televised. We come right into your home. You don't even have to go out to the meeting. But we encourage everyone to come and visit us so that we can make you more welcome, and you'll experience that moment of truth directly. The second moment of truth is the member orientation. As with any organization, the more formal induction and acknowledgement of a new member. Some clubs issue a membership pin at the time of joining. Toastmasters International sends out several booklets that explain the different types of communication techniques, and even a service manual, a basic communication leadership manual that has the first 10 project speeches that we work from. One recommendation is that if clubs have a coach or a mentor that can be assigned to help the new members. So at each step, someone that has a little more familiarity or expertise in a particular area, in this case it might be someone that's more experienced with television, can mentor another Toastmaster on how to take advantage of and best utilize the techniques that work best on television. The educational program and the assessment of needs, right from the start, if the guests are made aware of the types of their personal goals that can be accomplished, we should ask them what it is they came to Toastmasters for and try to tailor and explain how we can meet those. And the speaking roles are assigned sometimes on a rotational basis, other times on a volunteer basis. And that information needs to be included as part of the initial orientation. No one is forced to do anything they're uncomfortable with. The frequency of giving the typical 5 to 7 minute speeches or taking other roles such as timer or grammarian or even telling a joke is all at the at the comfort level of the new member. The fellowship, variety, and communication that we feel with Toastmasters and with our personal clubs. To me, each club is like a family reunion. You get together every week or every 2 weeks, and you're having a reunion. Most of your speeches, you're talking about things that have your personal experiences or things you'd like to tell the club about because they're of interest to you. There are separate events during the year which help contribute to that family atmosphere and that esprit de corps, as far as some clubs will arrange picnics once or twice a year or a Christmas party. There are contests within Toastmasters at an area level of 4 or 5 local clubs, and then at several other levels beyond that. Again, it's at the option of the member as to how much they want to participate in that. But attendance at those events is a good learning experience on how to give speeches and overcome the nervousness that comes with competing just by observing the atmosphere. As I said, the program planning and the meeting organization, having the meeting well scheduled in advance and everything runs smoothly, beginning and ending on time. That's part of the responsibility of the timer. Having creative table topics, such as Carol presided over today, and helpful feedback that we get through evaluations. That's an important part, that where members feel the benefit they get because they get that feedback with each presentation. Each club tries to have an average of 20 members. That's the average membership strength. To achieve and retain that, we do certain amounts of public relations activity within the community, distributing brochures, broadcast on a cable system such as this, membership building programs, and again, just by maintaining the satisfaction level of the member, we help build and retain that membership. Recognizing achievements, there are several levels within Toastmasters. Starting with, you're designated as a competent Toastmaster when you finish your first 10 goals. And you really do feel competent at that point. And then you can go on to other levels, both in speaking and in leadership roles, serving as a club officer. As I said initially, the leadership component of Toastmasters is something that the organization is trying to promote as one of the stronger assets of Toastmasters experience that hasn't been highlighted as much in the past. We learn we're all out communicating more, so it's the casual communication and the formal presentations that serve those in the professional environment, but also those leadership skills that go along with it. And there are a lot of benefits that and programs provided within Toastmasters that tend to frequently not get as much attention, but that can be a real drawing card. And ultimately, the overall achievement that comes with the external recognition and the personal recognition, because you feel confident standing in front of a lectern or standing in front of a camera, and that benefit, that's the ultimate moment of truth. That's when you realize that you've really gotten everything you can out of Toastmasters. And if you stay in Toastmasters to get everything out of Toastmasters, you'll never get out of Toastmasters. That's the ultimate moment of truth. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much. And now for our next speaker, Stanley Glitchner.
Speaking in public doesn't have to be a death sentence. At Toastmasters, we can help you overcome your fears.
Next speaker will be Rhonda Pollock. And Rhonda is a charter member of the Great American Speakers Club in Area 33 downtown. She's been a Toastmaster since October 2001. She earned her Competent Toastmaster and Competent Leader Awards in November of 2003. She's been moving right along. She's previously held the office of Vice President of Education and has hosted several club and area speech contests. By day, she is an instructional design specialist at Great American Insurance Company, which of course is where the Great American Toastmasters is. And she develops and delivers training on new claims and underwriting software for her company. And I'm assuming that she would want to do that on camera, and if she is not already doing so. By evening, she is the active mother of a rising senior at Anderson High School, and she's very much involved in her son's music and drama activities there. Rhonda is looking forward to working with the TV Toastmasters in her new role as area governor of our Area 34 of Toastmasters. Rhonda will conduct the installation ceremony today. We will have 8 officers installed. Unfortunately, our Vice President of Education, Verna Gibson, is not here today nor is our Vice President of Public Relations, Ben Davis. They wanted to be here, but they were unable to, but the rest of us are here. So please welcome Rhonda Pollock for the installation of officers for 2004-2005.
I'd like to have Steve Ehrenholz come up, please. Steve, having been elected the president of Club number 9523, you are its chief executive officer and will be expected to preside at all club meetings and at all regular and special meetings of your executive committee. It is your challenge to see that this club enables its members to achieve their educational goals. It is also your challenge to see that the club helps the area, division, district, and Toastmasters International to meet its goals. Please accept this gavel as a symbol of your leadership and dedication to office. The gavel is a symbol of the power and authority given to you by the membership of the club. Use it wisely and with restraint. You are a member of the team as well as its leader. A team is more than a collection of people. It is an emotional force rooted in the feelings, thoughts, and actions of all members with a common goal of achievement, sharing, and mutual support. Work with your team members to create a healthy club, a dynamic club, a club of which everyone will be proud. Will you, as president, accept this challenge and perform your duties to the best of your abilities?
I will.
Will everyone please stand? The growth and development of the Toastmasters program in Club number 9523 depends largely on the actions of this group. On your honor as men and women of Toastmasters, do you pledge to individually and collectively stand by this club, live with it, and work with it throughout this coming year?
We do.
Will the newly installed club president and immediate past president join with me here at the lectern? Carol Kormelink, as past president of Club number 9523, you are passing on this duty to Steve and asking for his dedication and service. And Steve, as president of Club number 9523, you are offering your dedication and service and taking over from Carol. Congratulations, officers of TV Toastmasters. Madam Toastmaster.
Don't go too far, Steve, because you're on next. Steve Ehrenholz, who is an Advanced Toastmaster Silver, which is the second level of Advanced Toastmaster, and a competent leader. And we know he's a competent leader. He's about to become the president of this company, of this club. Steve Ehrenholz will act as the general evaluator for today's meeting. Steve.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, our honored guest, and our viewers at home. The evaluation portion of the meeting is where we provide feedback to all of the speakers during the course of our meeting. We give them insight on what they do well, and we also identify various growth areas that they might want to consider taking on as they continue to improve their speaking and leadership abilities. My evaluation team today consists of 3 individuals here in our club. I have an evaluator for Joe Schwerling's speech, and that evaluation will be given to us by Rick Davis. Rick is a distinguished Toastmaster. I will go ahead and call Rick up here to give us his evaluation of Joe Schwerling's presentation. Rick?
Thank you, Steve. Fellow Toastmasters and Joe. Unfortunately, I was pretty busy doing my floor directing, so I wasn't able to listen real carefully to what you were saying. But it appeared to me that you were talking sort of in big generalities. And I think it would have been very helpful if you could have talked about our club and maybe pointed out some of the places where we would be doing better by following the moments of truth. I think that would be very helpful to our club and to getting us into the next level. So that's the only concern that I have, is that you talk specifically about our club. But good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. I know it's a challenge to be floor director and also try to take on a role in the meeting. You're basically juggling several tasks simultaneously. The individual today who is providing us with our feedback on our use of grammar as well as various crutches, we usually refer to them as the counter, is Carol Kormelink.
No, Ray Boston.
Oh, Ray Boston. I'm sorry. I didn't have the correction noted down here. Ray Boston is going to provide us our feedback on use of grammar and also our verbal crutches. Ray?
Well, we had a lot of word power today. A great speech by Joe, and we had some wonderful table topics. And on the table topics, which is speaking off the cuff, everybody got up there and they just started talking. They weren't too loquacious, and they got through all those table topics without one single ah. When Joe did his presentation, he did have a few ahs, about 4, and then he had a couple of half ahs where he was just getting ready to say a sentence and he sort of double clutched, but then he was very smooth for the rest of his speech. He did have a couple of times where he sort of stuttered when he starts up a word. And again, we say all this feedback from a very positive perspective so that we can improve, and that is the reason that we try to help each other to become more polished professional speakers. With that, we do want to commend Sheila, who used the word of the day, and she used the word loquacious. And so before I become too loquacious, I will turn it back to Steve.
Thank you, Ray. Very good. Ray was running one of our cameras and also listening to our use of grammar and crutches. At this point, I'm going to call upon Jerome Manigan. Jerome is an ATM bronze and also a competent leader. Jerome has been providing us with our timing today. We do it a little bit differently than a regular Toastmasters club in that our timing is done from the control room, and we actually use a series of hand signals rather than the traditional lights or time cards. With that, I'm going to ask Jerome to come up and give us our timers report for today. Jerome?
First of all, we should be here at 9 a.m., not 9:45, not 9:22, but 9 a.m. That is the time for the setup, and the meeting should be called to order at 9:15. Having said that, I will try to go through this in some order. It might be a little confusing to you because it's very confusing to me. The call to order was done by Carol Kormelink, the outgoing president for Club 9523. She stated the purpose of Toastmasters. She indicated to us that the installation of officers would take place. She also mentioned that we have a fan club, and I'd like to hear more about that, Carol. And she talked briefly about the meeting in East Lansing, Michigan. Her opening comments, or her call to order, took 1 minute and 35 seconds. She was followed by Jerome Manigan, who did a lawyer joke, but unfortunately I don't have the time for my joke. That was followed by Tabletopics, Carol Kormelink. She did 3 introductions. The first was 59 seconds, the second was 29 seconds, and the third was 27 seconds. Sheila Mudd Baker was the Toastmaster, and I'm going back, I told you that this was confusing. Sheila Mudd Baker did 4 introductions. The first was 20 seconds, the second 20 seconds, the third, which was the introduction for the speaker, was 1 minute 47 seconds, and the fourth introduction was 16 seconds. The table topic master did 59 seconds, 29 seconds, and 27 seconds. The speakers, those who responded to the table topics, the first speaker was 49 seconds, and the second speaker was 1 minute and 18 seconds. The first speaker, Joe Schwerling, was introduced at 1 minute 47 seconds. His presentation ran 13 minutes and 1 second. That was followed by the installation ceremony with Rhonda Pollock, 10 minutes, 29 seconds. The general evaluator, Steve Aaronholtz, is it Holtz? Holtz. Steve Aaronholtz did an intro of 50 seconds, an intro of 30 seconds, and an intro of 44 seconds. Ray Boston did the counter and gave us the grammarian report. That was 59 seconds. Now, I am thoroughly confused with these times. It's very difficult for me to keep up with all of this, but I hope you have some idea that even though we did not start at 9:15, we did use our time wisely, judiciously, and none of us were too very loquacious. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jerome. I appreciate your comment at the start of your evaluation, too, pointing out our need to be here on time and to start when we are scheduled. One of the things that I think we're learning in the process of being a club that's a little bit different from some of the others in that we actually videotape our meeting is that timing, always important in keeping your meeting running on time. But in television, it's even more critical because we do not necessarily have extra time to accommodate things that present us with challenges. I want to give my overall comments for our meeting as the general evaluator. As I commented, Jerome mentioned when we started, one of the other things that I would like to point out to people is that you should try to be at the ready when you know that you are the next person up and the Toastmaster is going to be calling on you. That way we don't have a prolonged delay waiting for someone to get up here. I know it's a little bit of a challenge at times depending on where you are assigned, but I think that's something that we could try and be a bit more vigilant about. Jerome, I wanted to commend you on your excellent vocal variety for your joke that you told today. I thought it was an excellent demonstration of how one can use vocal variety to enhance their presentation. Our word of the day was loquacious, and I missed whether Ray commented on who had used this term. Jerome used it, Sheila used the word of the day, and our guest Rhonda Pollock used it as well. One of the other things that I would like to ask people to help us with as far as when we are doing our video meeting is to be prepared and try to keep the meeting flowing. We do have some editing capabilities, but once in a while I think we have a bit of an over-reliance on the ability to edit as we review the tape from our meeting. And in sticking with a real-life scenario, that's also something that we need to consider, that we keep our meeting flowing and we don't become over-reliant on the ability to edit. Overall, I think our meeting went very well. I have never been able to attend a meeting where we installed the incoming officers, so Rhonda, thank you for being here today with us and doing the installation portion of our meeting. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back to our Toastmaster, Sheila.
Thank you, Steve. And it was my second time for an installation, but I've never had one that was so terribly formal, and it was lovely to have that. Speaking of confusion, Jerome talked about confusion. Sometimes in a studio, things get a little confusing as we race from camera to the lectern, and we race back and forth. And if you heard a noise that didn't get edited out, it was me saying, I don't know how to zoom in. I was behind a camera. So we play various roles. And one of the things I would like to suggest is those of you who are out there who are part of our fan club, we'd love you to come and join us sometime. See what it's like here in the studio. Possibly even become a member of TV Toastmasters. That would be very exciting. Speaking of exciting, our very exciting Carol Kormelink, who is our outgoing president, shall give her comments.
Thank you, Sheila. I would like to thank everyone for the great year that we had as TV Toastmasters. This is an advanced club, and one of the requirements for membership is that you belong to another club, and we do have, all of us have a home club. So all of us, and I'm usually loquacious, but I will make this brief. We have all advanced in our growth as Toastmasters this year, and as a team, we work as a team. No one does anything by themselves. So I would like to thank all the members and everyone that has contributed to making fine meetings like we had today. We also had an officer team. The officer team guides the environment of the club, and I'd like to thank all the officers for attending the officer meetings every month. One of the officers has gone above and beyond the call of duty, and Rick, you don't know it, but I have a little gift for you. Would you mind coming up here and receiving your little gift? I appreciate Rick. Without Rick, this club would not exist. Without Rick, this club would not be seen on television. Thank you, Rick. Rick Davis. Thank you, Rick. And I will welcome our working with the new president. I always said I would rather be a good right-hand man than have to be the president. So I am welcoming Steve being our president for next year.
Thank you, Carol. I need to reinforce Carol's comment that in the upcoming Toastmaster year, I'm not going to be able to do this by myself. In fact, all of you are going to have an important role in ensuring that we have a successful Toastmaster year. I noted that the theme of the 2004-2005 Toastmaster year, our president, John Greiner, has identified it as Toastmasters, changing lives one at a time. We'd like to have any of you who are watching in come and join us, see what it's like to attend a Toastmasters meeting. We have 2 opportunities a month that people can come and visit us. Our next meeting is going to be on July 5th. I know that is the July 4th holiday, but it will be held at 6:30 p.m. at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church up in Kenwood. We do not videotape that meeting. Our next Saturday meeting will occur on July 17th here in the Anderson Union Township television studio. And as Jerome pointed out, we will be starting at 9 o'clock. We do need to have people here to help our Sergeant-at-Arms get the studio set up, because a lot of the things that we have to put in place are more than what one person can handle by themselves. And as you've noticed, Carol is a person of small stature, but don't underestimate her. We will also be sponsoring the club officer training July 24th. Is that correct? That Saturday? And it will be at Good Shepherd Lutheran Church as well from 9 to 1. And this will be an opportunity for all the officers of the various clubs in the Cincinnati area to attend and learn more about their roles in the upcoming Toastmaster year. With that, I'm going to adjourn our meeting for today. You at home will be watching this in July, so that is the beginning of our new Toastmasters year. And we hope that you'll consider coming to visit us in person. With that, our meeting is adjourned.